back to my channel. Today we are doing an unboxing of the Morgan Greer Tarot Deck, one of my favorite alternatives to the Rider-Waite. And on this channel we discuss everything tarot, twin flames, and spiritual ascension. So if you're into all that, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. So this is the pocket version of the Morgan Greer, and if you travel a lot, I would strongly consider this size. It does not come with a guidebook, but it does come with a QR code, and I don't mind it because sometimes the guidebook gets in the way of putting everything back inside the deck. Now, when you get this deck, all the cards here are in order. So you have the major arcana, the swords, rods, cups, and pentacles. So I'm just going to go through the major arcana cards first and then talk about some of my favorites. So as you know, there are 22 cards here, from the Fool to the World. And you can think of the major arcana as like the major themes of a reading. So let's see, I like this deck because it's a simpler version of the Rider-Waite. For people that feel like the Rider-Waite has too much detail, you can see that they've really panned in on the nuts and bolts of what you should pay attention to with each card. So I find that that often simplifies things. What else? It has a really 70s vintage feel. So if you feel like you're an old soul or you're an indigo starseed, you might resonate with this deck. But I think the big question is, what are you using this deck for? What are you going to be reading for? And I think the reason that we gravitate towards tarot cards over oracles in this sense is that tarot is often really good because of the detail and the open-endedness of its interpretation for like what is going on in the situation, whether it's love, career, health, whatever you're reading for. I like to use this deck. Some of you may have seen my monthly forecast because it covers all manner of sins, as they say. And I also really like to use this deck for love questions, specifically like who's coming in for me, or what type of personality would fit me best. Let's just keep going here. So, okay, major arcana. Let me lay all of our cards here out on the table, and then I will presto changeo, give you a good bird's eye overview, because it really does follow the archetypal journey. So we start with the Fool, and we see the Fool's journey as he kind of steps into his own power. He's discovering his purpose, there's some love there, there's some speed, there's some transformation, there's finding his way back home, there's particular hurdles and challenges, there's divine guidance, there's perhaps another moment solidifying harmony after the storm, and then finally we see that he is reborn again from those challenges and becomes a fully realized, self-actualized man. So anybody that's resonating with the spiritual pursuits, that's probably why you're here. Now, my favorite card from this deck is gotta be the Lovers. Traditionally, the Lovers has kind of like a devil element to it. It represents the enslavement of ourselves to our choices, good or bad. And there's a bit of Adam and Eve kind of artistry there, but this one changes. It's, number one, it's biracial, which is really neat and very inclusive. And there's no bondage element in this one. There's kind of more of an element of like the Two of Cups or the Sun, meaning partnerships, which is nice. And I also really like, I'm gonna screw all this up, this interpretation of the Wheel of Fortune. Really neat here. It's incredible artistry. The king looks like he's having the time of his life, while the queen is just very much aware that somebody is falling off the wheel here. And it's just a nice reminder of like the masculine feminine properties being balanced. So I really like that too. As for the minor arcana, this is going to be the personalities we can encounter as well as the trials and tribulations of everyday life. So I'm going to start with the swords. I like that the Morgan Greer continues the medieval theme that we find in the Rider-Waite. You know, the suits take on extra meanings as the class system within this universe. And the swords, of course, are thought to represent the nobility. The rods are the trades class. The cups represent the papacy, or people who have spiritual pursuits. And the pentacles represent the poor, or the working class. So that's always kind of a nice tie-in whenever we're asking about somebody in particular, whether in representation of their head or heart space, or just kind of where their energies lie in this life. Now, if you're new to tarot, I know you might be thinking, there are so many different interpretations to each card. You know, which one do I choose? What if it's reversed? La la la. And I always advise my beginners to just kind of pick a card and see what resonates. Don't move on to reversals too hastily. Just pick a card every day and kind of familiarize yourself with the deck. Your eye might be drawn to colors or scenery of a particular card. And the biggest question and best question we can ask ourselves with tarot is, what is the feeling that I get? That is probably the best way to learn, regardless of what your book says. Tarot is all about reading energy and discerning sometimes when a card comes up as advice or a warning or even an answer. And then who does it represent? Does it represent you? Does it represent your client or somebody else in your client's life? Now, all these things will be made clearer with practice. So if you get the Page of Rods here, this could represent a juvenile energy associated with the element of fire. Now there are 78 cards in total, and I know that that can seem a bit daunting at first, but another way that you can clarify meanings to questions is just to keep pulling cards. So if you get somebody like the Knight of Swords and you get a Major Arcana card, it symbolizes the thematic importance of the role of this person in your life. But if you get a Minor Arcana card, such as the Two of Cups, then you know that that person is involved in the creation of, well, Two of Cups is a bad one to represent because that means partnership. Two of Pentacles. You know the person is more likely to be involved in the creation of prosperity in some way, usually 3D material aims. I'm going to finish up here with the Suit of Pentacles in just a minute. So we have the Page, we have the Knight, Queen of Cups, and the King. So if you made it this far and you want to keep learning, be sure to let me know. I'm on Instagram and Pinterest as Massage by Carrie. I also have readings on my website. Now I've got to say, some of my favorite cards in this deck are the Queens. The Queen of Cups has a real 1920s look to her, as we just saw. And she's not only intuitive, she's also very progressive in this deck. In the other Rider-Waite, she seems more maternal and less of a mystic. That's just my interpretation. This woman looks like kind of a true clairvoyant, somebody that's looking forward towards the future. Now, I also really enjoy the High Priestess, who's more of like a mother nun figure, and the Empress, who's also like a woman in her prime. Now, all the prominent ladies in this deck are really, really interesting. Let's see, Nine of Pentacles, there's like an ocean vibe to her. I really love the Queen of Swords, who also seems quite Cancerian here. And then sometimes a divorced woman or woman scorned from the Rider-Waite in this deck is quite different. Then there's the Queen of Pentacles, who to me feels like kind of a mobster's wife. And less of a domestic here. She's more, I don't know, like a warrior woman. Here's the King. Honorable mention definitely has to go to the Two of Cups. And what I love about that card is it kind of looks like they're arguing here. So in the other deck, in the Rider-Waite, it's like, you know, finding harmony, finding the one. But I feel like you get a more realistic perspective of relationships in this card. They're arguing. It's a big part of what it means to have a relationship. And, you know, based on the cards that it might have around it, then the interpretation is manifold. So that is the Morgan Greer Tarot. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope it didn't go too fast. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions, if you liked it. Please like this. This also helps my channel get seen. Subscribe, and the next video I'll be doing is Your Divine Masculine Speaks. So that'll be a really good example of how all of these cards are used. Okay, guys, that's all I have for you. I'll see you next time.